Okay, thank you, everybody. This is the Community Engagement Commission meeting on April the 17th, starting at 6:05. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And let's, for roll call, Commissioners, Aaron Asmuth,
Here.
Summer Darrow. Here. Arlene Fisher-Meyer.
Here.
Cynthia Gamboni. Here. Bill Norman.
Here.
Mark Sala notified me that he had a conflict tonight and would not be here, so I'd like someone to make a motion to excuse Mark.
Or you could just excuse him administratively.
I will just administratively excuse Mark Sala. Thank you. So, going to the agenda. Approvals on the agenda. Are there any modifications, revisions that you see equally made? Okay,
I move that we accept the meetings from the minutes from our last meeting.
the agenda.
The agenda as presented.
Second? I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Moving on to the minutes of March 20th, 2024. Any revisions? Additions?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, next item. City comments, City Hall updates. So David has provided a handout. I don't know, there are any questions of David on
Well, no, it seems like there's a lot of discussion points though from that.
You're talking about item one?
I'm talking
that?
about.
Item one?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, probably yes. And so, I think that we can discuss that. I think I don't, that was my, also one.
I actually did have one addition to put on there. Don't know how I forgot about this. We're getting a new design to our website, the city's website. Probably end of next week. Could be last few days of April or first few days of May. It's just gonna be a new look. It's the content will remain the same. Library will also be affected by this, and Trailhead Golf Course will be getting a bit more of a homepage look to their site. So don't be surprised when you see a new look here soon. I've given you the inside scoop.
So when is the approximate launch date? Next week?
It'll be as soon as April 25th. It could be a little bit later, depending on what modifications need to be done.
Okay,
We've had about 5 members of the staff assisting through this process. It was a free upgrade we got from our web service. We didn't have to pay anything extra for it. It's just something they do every few years for their clients, and it's going to look more colorful, more interesting, and
I'd just like to tell David that I finally listened to the cat episode. Thank you for that. There's Meowpolis.
there's a little, for those of you who haven't listened to it, I'm not going to reveal anything, but
Yeah, Aaron.
there's a little something extra that I think this group will appreciate. That you're not expecting.
I never listened to it too, but this was the second one. I didn't get to that one, so.
Would be the addition, according to that suggestion, of a 10th member who would be adjunct or non-voting. So we still have 9 voting members, avoiding the probability of a tie vote on these. And we would have a 10th member who participates from outside the city but does not vote.
Well, my interpretation after I heard that at the City Hall meeting, they that was up to us
Right,
to recommend, should this be a voting member or a non-voting member? I'm not so, maybe Mike and I guess I just don't know how much the commission thinks do we need really adjunct members after we change
yeah.
the ordinance. Is that really necessary? Well, we have 9, and as far as the tie vote, well, that could happen at any time, because let's say one of the members is gone, and we have 9 voting members, one member is not gone, is on at a meeting, then we have 8, we're always going to be in that realm of a potential tie vote.
Yeah,
And I think our tie votes are, different than city council's tie votes, and it's an opportunity for more engagement as opposed to opposition or different sides of an issue probably. So I would almost welcome a tie if we came down to that on some level, right? So that to me is that's not an issue for me. I think it's more about, A, do we open it up to an adjunct or, outside of the specific, group we have now, and are they a voting?
I would tell you this, if this affected me, if I were a person that lived there, I don't think I'd feel very happy about, volunteering to give my time in an effort that I couldn't influence beyond, trying to shape others' opinions. If I can't vote on it, why do I want to show up for a meeting? Maybe for Robin's cookies, but
And I think it forces you to influence differently,
yeah.
right? It forces you into the position.
So I'll add my 2 cents in. I don't believe we need that. I think
Thank you. Okay, we're ready for your concerns.
Speaker.
Mm-hmm.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you pretty okay.
Yeah, she can, go ahead, Aaron, she can hear you.
It is a little bit more disconnected. But where I would differ maybe slightly is when they look at the unincorporated areas of Liberty Lake. I don't know if those are included in the some of those more truly adjacent areas that were, I don't know if that's, if we're incorporating those in the current structure. If we are, and it's part of that map structure, fantastic. But that would be my only thought.
I think the recommendation is specifically, Aaron, for south of Sprague around the lake.
So yeah, I would hear that. Maybe would support that.
And we missed whatever Arlene had added, so if you could repeat that, Arlene, if you're still around.
yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just kind of want to repeat, I think we should keep these decisions within the city limits of Liberty Lake.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlene. So I think we only have one adjunct that can be allowed. Let's say, we'll just take our commission, for example, then that means that we could possibly have several that would like to be adjunct too. And then we're gonna have to vet that out thoroughly. Because we don't want 4 to 5 adjunct positions. I think we're talking 1. So maybe more on the conservative side, because who says that we can't get 9 people once we just change this ordinance to people in Liberty Lake?
Positions. I think that should be a resounding yes. We want all of the 9 members specified in the ordinance, I would think, to be voting members. we moved some of the geographically tied representation to the, I think we're getting a little muddled here. There are two things that were presented, well, one thing presented to the city council, and they created another question that we did not introduce. The question that we presented was, how do we change the requirements for participation in the Community Engagement Commission so that we can have more members not tied to specific geographies in the city? And our recommendation was that out of the 9 positions that are created by this ordinance, 4 of them be geographically specific, just as we've always defined, and the remaining 5 be at large, meaning they can come from anywhere within the city.
Right.
And this question is, should those 5 be voting positions? All I'm saying, and all this motion is about, is answering that question. And the answer I'm proposing is yes, those 5 at-large members, the city has already implicitly agreed to that recommendation. So now we're just saying, yes, we want those 5 to be voting members so that at the end of the day, there are 9 voting members on the commission, which is the number.
People in. So you made the motion, we seconded it,
Right,
we discussed it thoroughly.
we need to vote.
And you can at least inform the city council what your view is on that part, it sounds like.
Yeah, and then we'll get to the
Depending on
second
your
part.
vote.
So, you made the motion, it was seconded. All in favor? Is there anything else, Summer?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, that portion carries that 5 members at large could be voting positions in the city residents. Now we have the addition of a 10th position that would be an adjunct for non-voting spot for a non-resident of the city.
Arlene, I'm hearing no from you.
Yeah, you're hearing no from me. I think 9 is more than plenty. Also, we're an open public meeting, so anybody can come and speak anytime at any of the issues we're discussing here. So that's my thought on that.
Okay, thanks, Arlene, that's good. Summer,
I just keep seeing throughout all these bullet points about should they be a voting member or a non.
outreach plan, to find a way to engage those people so that we do have their voice too.
Oh, so I move that our response to the city council on the issue of a 10th at-large, 10th adjunct member be that we don't think that's a good idea.
We would recommend having them. Hold on, I want to get Aaron's feedback too. Aaron, are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, well, what are your thoughts?
Technically, you need to have a second first.
Well, you know, if we're adding that position, you know, keeping it a non-voting member, I think it's fine. You know, again, the city council is gonna do something different, you know, that's, you know, we'll roll with it, but, yeah, I guess, yeah, I'm in agreement with the general direction of the conversation.
Thank you.
Is Aaron saying no adjunct?
Cynthia? I want to,
I want to make sure I got the notes.
oh, okay.
Aaron is saying no adjunct?
You were saying no adjunct, correct? Aaron?
Sorry, so, I'm saying if we end up adding adjuncts, I would agree that it's a non-voting member. I think from a community standpoint, I would still lean towards adding somebody for that area that we discussed. I think it makes sense well, it's not technically part of Liberty Lake, it's part of Liberty Lake. I think it still makes sense, but again, yeah, I would lean towards having it be a non-voting member.
Okay. Thanks. Cynthia?
I was finding myself kind of, playing around with that idea too, because I like the idea that we are community engagement. And I like to feel inclusive. I don't like to feel
Me
like
too.
we're exclusive and we're going to exclude people from Liberty Lake, because it is, I mean, they're not in the city, but they're part of the community. You could certainly say we're all part of the same community. And so we're here to engage our community, and excluding because of city limits, something that's very obviously part of the community, was kind of battling around in my head. The fear that I have, and I hate to use the word fear, but the unknown is, what does this do down the road? Is this opening, not a Pandora's box, I don't want to say that, but does it set a precedent like you have mentioned? And that's, I guess, not really for me to worry about. So if I just look at this one problem that I'm faced with, I would probably say, yeah, we could bring somebody on in and have them not be a voting member. I think, that would strengthen us. It would be a good thing.
So,
And Robin, did you say Mark also relayed you some opinion?
Mark said if we did an adjunct non-voting, it would be a 10-person commission, but he wanted the adjunct to be non-voting.
Did he say if he wanted an adjunct?
He left it up there, said, I'll just go with what the group says, but if you want, the adjunct, and if that's the way the commission votes, then make sure, he felt it was important to.
All right.
Come on, Bill.
Once again, I move that we report to the city council that we oppose the idea of a 10th commission member who would be an adjunct member, non-voting, and from outside the city limits.
Second. Arlene,
Arlene seconded that. Okay. I think we discussed this earlier. Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Let me count this, okay. Who's in favor of the bill motion?
Okay,
Okay, Summer, Robin, Bill, Arlene.
Yep.
Cynthia, you're just holding a microphone, or you voting?
No, I am just holding the phone.
Okay, Aaron, your vote?
Aaron, your
Are
vote.
you a yes?
Aaron, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to Bill's words and I'm trying to make sure that the motion is clear. So you just said an adjunct non-voting member from outside of Liberty Lake. So that doesn't define the area that was defined within the piece.
Well,
So
outside the city limits,
if that's the verbiage, then
outside the city limits of Liberty Lake.
right. But what was on the discussion, what we were discussing though, and Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's hard to do this remote sometimes, but is the position being south of Sprague on the lake, correct? So if we're saying that in general, that's one thing, but I think if we're saying we're opposed to, so I guess that's what I'm trying to get a clarification on, Bill. So you're saying you're opposed to any adjunct position regardless of whether it's the one they've defined, that's been defined as around the lake area?
That is
Right.
correct, that's correct.
His motion was from
That is
outside the
correct.
city.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to be, that's what I'm trying to get clarity on that, okay.
Those opposed.
So we have,
Aaron?
Aaron is a no. Cynthia, you can also abstain.
I'm also a no, there's, yes.
Okay, so we can, that doesn't mean you can't look at this issue again in the future.
Exactly. And Mark just left the,
I can't vote.
yeah, he can't,
He's not here.
he's not here. Sorry. You're right. No, it's just like, okay, so does that recommendation, now we can take that to the city council?
And I can relay the vote count as well, not just
Yes.
say it was an
that's what I'm saying.
endorsement,
Here
it
is
was
the
a vote to.
Okay,
I mean, I would like to add some sort of at this time, because I know we're a little bit behind that in some way, but I just, as we're relaying this message, I think an at this time is actually where I'm at and what, you know.
And I think that's what I said at this time.
and
I would agree with Summer's language saying, cause I'm kind of in the same boat. I think to me, there's two things that would need to be clarified if we're gonna move forward with that as a formal recommendation, or if it's the city council members, which is clarity on where, clarity on voting. To me, it has to be better defined to be able to truly vote yes or no. So in the gray terms that it is, I would be comfortable saying affirming the negative, so to speak. But could that change in the future? I would agree with, it sounds like Summer's in that same position where, depending on how it's framed and what it actually looks like, until I actually see what it looks like and sounds.
I have said that's. We refuse to ever consider this again.
So I did notice, I didn't read this last bullet point here, but it looks like the city planning commission does allow and currently has a non-voting member from outside the city limits. So we wouldn't actually be the first. If that helps.
discussion?
I think we're done.
And I can easily, you don't need to vote necessarily on Summer's thoughts, but I can easily provide some phrasing to be forwarded to Mark McAvoy and then to the city council, and it will be, I guess, on the record that you're open to further discussion on this matter, but just not at this time, correct?
Yeah, I don't think anybody said exactly, I mean, hard no, but it was for right now.
And that the,
9 is sufficient. We would like to see if we could give city residents, and at this time, but we really have a lot, we're a new organization, we are a new commission. And we probably need to look at where, keep it contained and see where, really see if we can expand or not.
Yeah, I mean, the point of this initially was to get more people within our map and how could we change this to make this work? So to me, I think to answer the actual question on the table, that's why we presented this at-large situation. Opening up to the next thing, that's why I'm kind of like, that's a down the road thing. I think we wanted to solve the issue at hand.
And that was the city council addition to the recommendation that we made.
suggestion, not necessarily addition, but suggestion. And I will relate it, and this is accurate, that it was the universal expression of the commission that you all value engagement, you all value the larger community, and you want to get them all involved. I heard that from everybody.
I mean, it went beyond the scope of our first recommendation. And it was one, I don't think that we were thoroughly ready to make another recommendation on top of that. Okay. Oh, I'm glad we got to that. 2024 work plan. We have that work plan and we have some things coming up such as one of the things we'll be talking tonight about is the town hall transparency. And we also have coming up that with, some things with the farmer's market, and also Lisa Keys with her, we'll be talking about her workshop meeting that she's asked us to also consider. So those are the main things that on the work plan I went ahead and added for everybody. And we have these on for discussion and business. Any questions? Comments? Revisions? Some that I had taken. And then there was also another one called Project Suggestions from City Council from Workshop. Does everybody have a copy?
No.
I was here trying to fix the internet.
I'm sharing mine with Summer. Arlene and Aaron, do you have a copy of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Aaron, do you have a copy? Okay, so I would like to have some discussions on what, I'm sorry.
To Cynthia and Bill.
Oh, yeah, the Cynthia
Yeah, we
bill.
have them right
Yeah,
now.
Cynthia bill. Yeah. Okay, let's open for discussion, and if there may be extras to add to that too, because after all, I was just taking notes, and I could have missed a few things. And what was overall, what we're doing is a debriefing type session. So we'd like to get everybody's maybe comments on that.
So this is Arlene, I just want to clarify, so is this a town hall transparency, including city council and our committee, or the city council?
Actually, on this, Arlene, we're just going.
Robert, would you just
So
want to
some of-
read?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead, some of mine were from notes, I'm going to, here are some of the things, it says CC workshop notes, March 5th, 2024, realizing that these were my notes from there. And so Councilmember Dunn needed some things, it said need to implement actions, seek input from the community, substitute projects for actions, seek methods on how we reach those actions. Mayor Pro Tem Cargill said wants to have a report on the budget feedback at each of every year. He likes the docs to have a report and identify the budgeting priorities. Requested to have CC meetings in the various parks or the idea of addressing the qualifications and recommendations for the vacancies of the area. Had a question regarding staff adequacy. Councilmember Van Orman, question regarding meeting the needs of the demographics. Are we putting information on the kiosk for access? Councilmember Spencer, supported the binder development for the farmer's market. Supported the update to the ordinance regarding CEC membership. Supported engaging the HOAs for information. Acknowledged the need to talk to the HOAs and provide them information. Supported the framework flow chart for information to get a good representation from the community. Mayor Kamiska said, supports the idea of a tent listening post at a different place outside of the farmer's market, likes the docs, have a report and identify the budgeting priorities. Do a short form at the farmer's market for questions and have a running tally. Jot down the items that were discussed.
I will say that, as Summer and I thought about the town hall meeting on transparency, focusing on transparency, we did think that several of these items fit into that discussion. The pop-up meetings, the listening tent, that kind of thing. So, if we get to it, you'll see that our recommendation includes sort of seeding some of these questions to the people who are there and then inviting their comment on them, perhaps even amplifying what we might do. So several of those as they relate to engagement and interaction and talking to each other, we think could be part of that meeting.
And I think that you and Summer also addressed with the binder, some of the things that were also said.
Yeah.
With the binder.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Yes.
That
And
we
to
started
that point,
address.
the binder is fairly robust now, and it will be in the magic tub at the farmer's market when we start.
Okay, that's excellent. Thanks, Bill. Summer, Cynthia, Arlene, or Aaron?
Yeah, I saw this just as a big brainstorming sort of meeting. And I think this is a very valuable set of notes to hold on to and look at, and maybe before each meeting, I personally would be happy to pick out one of these and kind of just see how that fits into our meeting, you know, and see if we're addressing it. I didn't see a lot of specific asks. I mean, there are things like the kiosk and the HOAs, but again, I can see how we just weave that into our discussions that are upcoming. And if, as I am going through this, I see any of these that I can really specifically bring up and address, I'd be happy to, but again, I think this was one of those meetings where people are just starting to get to know each other and get to know what we can do for each other and how we can work together. So I didn't take away a huge list of very specific actions, just kind of get everyone's feel for things. And I think we're on the same page a lot, and they're a very useful resource for us and vice versa, I think. So that was kind of my takeaway.
And I thought this also revealed a general sense of value. They have high expectations. They're eager for us to do our work.
Yeah. And my thought of it was that this was quite a bit of, I use the word to-dos a lot, right? The to-do list. And I think some of these, we'll just keep chipping away at it and see where we're at. And we will definitely try and attain some of these, but some of them, it might be.
We're putting really well, which I think, things that we can, I think Bill said that too, which we can kind of feed into our strategies, which is great. Other things, interesting ideas, but may not even be in our purview or what we even should be doing. But I think it was definitely enlightening to kind of see who was focusing on what, and that helps understand their perspective and kind of where they're coming from, and how we can also communicate maybe more effectively back to them in the future.
I agree. Everybody's nodding. I'm sorry you can't see us all. Okay. Anything?
Just before we move on from that,
Yeah.
if there's anything that we do in a meeting while we have this notes document that we feel really answers this, I think we should do our best to quickly, so that either on our next meeting or our updates, we're able to address that. So I just want to make sure we're tracking that, and not, the hardcore spreadsheet version, but if we say, hey, this really speaks to that, or hey, we did end up doing the video or whatever, so that we really know that and can relay that. That's it for me.
Okay, perfect.
And then
Yeah,
the binder.
yeah. Bill and the binder. Okay, thank you. Anything else? I don't want to move on. Okay. So farmer's market for May 18th. Farmer's market's going to start opening now Saturdays, and what we've typically done, and I guess that's what we have to talk about is scheduling. did it work effectively to go from 9 to 11 and to 11 to 1? Or does that scheduling work for everyone? Is that the, or I don't know if we just want to do one person for the whole shift. I don't know if that works well, or one. I'm open.
So I think that certainly the two shifts.
Two shift works.
Yeah, it's more complicated, but it's more humane. So that would be my voice.
Okay.
This Arlene, I would agree, 2 shifts, because I got a crown line calling my name underwater this summer, so if I could do a morning shift, I'd be happy to, so.
Okay, we stick with 2 shifts, 9 to 11, 11 to 1, is that, I'm just hoping it, okay. And so,
Why don't I take the first shift on the 18th, and that way I can get this in place.
well, okay, and then, but I'll be out there because if, not unless, you want to do the display also?
No, why don't you do the first shift? I'll just bring this and then I'll.
Okay, so, yeah, so every other week, if everybody knows about our displays, we usually have a variety of displays because it helps people to come up. It's like the icebreaker that we need sometimes. And so, about every 2 weeks, we do a different display. And so I thought since I'm out there, if I'm doing the display, I'd be happy to do that first shift, that every other week. So then on May 18th, then for the 2 shifts, then we then have the 11 to 1 o'clock. Is anybody, the May 18th?
So I'll do that.
Okay, so Bill will do that. And
If
then,
I could interject here real quick, if you guys could send out if we could send out a schedule, that would be great, because I also have Rotary responsibilities too.
okay, so I'll make a spreadsheet, send out the schedule, get from here on out until the end of the farmer's market. Any discussion? Does that sound feasible?
Yeah, I mean, last year, so prior to last year, I was able to participate more in farmers market. Last year, that just was kind of right up for me, just Saturdays were like that. This year, I'm looking forward to doing more of that, but what I found personally, and there might be other people here, I like the buddy system sometimes. I like joining in, with somebody on their shift. I like knowing that somebody who is able to be there is definitely gonna be there, and I could just kind of show up on my own time. But I also really like being there in conversation with somebody. Gives me an opportunity to, have more time with somebody and come up with ideas and witness it together and be able to speak on it together. So just personally, I feel like you might see me in that role somehow, and I probably am not the only one who feels that way, or either has, regardless of schedule, just maybe feels a little more comfortable doing it that way. So, I don't mind there being 2 slots per time period, and if it's worked out, among ourselves, that's fine with me. It doesn't have to be the full-on sign-up genius, but, I don't know, that's kind of my thoughts on it a little bit too.
Yeah, and I think that's, I think if we can just meet the minimum and have one CE member at each of those or blocks of time, but if you want to volunteer to come above and beyond that, I think that's real acceptable. I mean, I will be out there more, especially because I'm also helping out with the Friends of the Library. So I'll be supporting them, so I will, no, don't ask me how to get this stuff. But, so I will probably be out there more than what my allotted time is, because depending on if the group there wants me out there too.
Great, just put it that way.
Yeah. So I'll make that up, get it over to David, and we'll see what we can, and let's just make it a living document. All of the stuff, I think a lot of the stuff that Sign Up Genius did not work as well. It was
Who had problems with that?
me.
I don't have problems with it. Just,
I think I did have problems with it the first time I used it, but then I went back through it and then like re-signed up or I forget what had happened, but I had to put myself down and then realized I wasn't on the schedule, and so maybe it was user error. I'm not really sure, but.
It might have been user with me too. But it was always hard for me to get back into to see, okay, who's doing what in this week, and there were, it was just, we can try a different scenario and see if it works any better.
Yeah.
Because everybody's amenable to that, and I don't believe we need a motion done. Aaron, does that work too for you?
Sounds good.
Okay,
Robin, it's sounding like if you're creating some kind of a form, probably allow for 2 slots for each time slot in case some people want to double up.
okay, yes, I think so. If some people like to double up, like, there's no problem, just as long as we hit the minimum, 1 per shift. Okay. And then, I think I've taught David, you know, how we do the displays. I asked if we could do a nice magnetic 24 by 36 inch whiteboard with a simple tripod with colorful, lots of colorful markers and magnets. I think it would provide more flexibility, especially if we want to, on the magnetic board, see, if you look at the flip chart over here, it goes vertical, you can't really easily do it horizontal. Most of our stuff is horizontal, actually, because they're putting the dots all across and if you ever see, you know, it fills it up, so, we have in the budget for supplies, and I believe, David, you're in agreement, shake yes or shake no.
What I'm looking for is, what are your needs to have out there, what are your suggestions, and do you like the idea of a magnetic board? Do you like the idea of being able to move it horizontal versus vertical? Just give us your needs and ideas, and we'll take it from there from City Hall's point.
Okay, yeah,
So my concern about a magnetic board would be, could we anticipate wind and anchor it some way? So that this isn't gonna blow away because the tripod isn't, it might blow over. But if we just have a magnetic board leaning against a tripod, I can see it. On some days,
well, this actually blows over too,
it does, but it doesn't blow, well,
oh,
doesn't break.
oh, that's what you.
yeah, how do you, yeah.
Who's gonna
Minimize the likelihood that it will go flying into.
Do you like the idea of a magnetic board? This is the same size.
Does that have one right
It has dry erase, it is not magnetic.
Oh, you still use sticker dots.
Yeah.
Do you like the idea of dry erase? Do you like the idea of magnetic? Do you like other things?
Who's carrying it?
Who?
Who's carrying it?
The mayor.
Consider these things.
Well, we,
This is Arlene, I would keep it simple.
Simple's good.
I like simple.
Define simple.
You know, a whiteboard with markers and lots of colors, and it's our personalities.
So a simple whiteboard.
That is true.
Not magnetic. Maybe.
It could be if there's not much cost difference to get the extra feature, you don't have to use
we don't have to
the
use.
whiteboard, you don't have to use the
You
magnetic.
don't
but
have to
it's
use
a-
the magnets, but it's there, especially when you get really cute decorative magnetics, because the kids will like that.
Well, to speak to the wind part, you can put the flyers on with magnets to the board.
Yeah, see,
Along the ground.
it's more, I always thought it was more multifunctional.
Yeah, I'm with you, Robin, and you know what?
Get the way.
Magnetic whiteboard.
Exactly, it's not, I looked at the prices, not that much
Your
more.
flip chart is gonna be crying.
Well, the flip chart, I'm telling you, when the wind hits, those yellow pages start flying.
All right, let's have some fun.
I'm just getting your ideas and we'll take it from there from
Great.
City Hall standpoint.
I think we can get a magnetic whiteboard.
Yeah, and get the cute magnets too,
Get the what?
cute magnets.
Cute magnets.
They're not that much.
You want magnets with Smurfs on them, what?
Yeah, or Charlie Brown stickers.
All right, now we've gone too far.
Yeah, we have. Okay, if we're, okay, any more further discussion of farmer's market?
Are there any other needs you have for opening week or two? And I will add to this, I said this on the last city hall update, we do have a map available of, capital projects for this year, so that will be available. We do have a
And
map
it's in the
in-
binder.
Okay, yeah, we do have a map available in case you want to put it up there. We do have a map available of the, Spokane River, Trail Project, at least people can see where the route is on that, and that's kind of a later item there. Any other resources you may need to put on this thing, or have out there?
Just the more common things, tape, scissors.
Flag.
Reason we purchase anything. Farmers market,
Yeah,
we can still buy some later, but
Yeah.
in order to prep you for Saturday, number one.
Just show
This is it.
engaging.
okay, moving on to E. Oh. Okay, moving on to E, transparency town hall meeting, Bill and Summer.
Bill.
Yes, first of all, I won't take any. David. And what the city council has requested is our recommendation about what this would look like. And Mark feels very strongly that by the June 1st deadline, what he wants from us is a proposal. The outline, as we have provided it, can be used as a proposal. So the question becomes, at the very least, as you have reviewed this, is there anything, is it good enough for us to run with? Do you want to refine it or change it in any way? I'm looking out the town hall transparency outline that is part of your packet today, so it's, for those of you who are here, it's this thing. So that when we come to our meeting next month, we could have distilled those thoughts into whatever revision you recommend and be ready to act on it.
So I think on this project submission form, you probably need to make sure and email that to Aaron.
Yes, I'll do that. I do have electronic copies, so Arlene and Aaron, after the meeting, I'll email those to you.
And just to be safe with state rules, any recommendations from anybody, actually send those to me,
Oh,
so we can avoid the meeting by,
So would you rather have it just go to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so David, you'll email this out then to this project,
yeah, but I don't have that. Do I?
okay?
no, that's not what we're talking about.
We're just focused on the transparency,
Yeah.
town hall.
Okay,
Just.
Yeah, nobody needs to review the submission form.
As far as any modifications or suggestions to the current document, relay those to me, then I will send those out individually.
Right. I could add everyone to the OneNote list. Would that be helpful or just problematic? Yeah,
I would also say, I mean, I would also argue that Bill really did a great job of this, and I think that there's certainly room for other ideas or other things, but within this outline, I wouldn't see a whole bunch of just individual little changes and things like that. I think it's more just a few ideas that maybe we should stick in there or take out and that sort of thing. And going to David makes a lot of sense instead of getting into a document or thinking about a forum or anything like that.
Sure.
I think that gets into why we had a subcommittee, in order to avoid a majority of the group having what looked to be a meeting.
Okay, so let's back, and then, so everything for comments, everything will go to David. Everybody has a copy of the town hall transparency. When we need a deadline to give these revisions or comments to,
Friday before the next meeting. So I can,
okay, what's that date? Can you grab that date? So I want exact date.
May, let's see, is that May 15th?
Is our next meeting. So the Friday before that is the
Yeah.
10th.
Yes.
So May 10th.
Having some sort of action here for this, and I think, for me, the big takeaway is that the town hall meeting itself is the transparency, right? That, you know, it just is, just having another opportunity for people to actually participate, and the theme of it being about transparency is awesome. So I think anything we do towards that goal, I'm here for it.
I will just say that we do need to be prepared to act decisively at our next meeting, because it is expected that we will have our recommendation in Mark's hands by June 1st.
Okay, I think that that's all. And I think Bill and Summer, both of you did a really good job on this, on the confirmation.
Yeah, I think it's a nice format for things going forward too. Because I like the subcommittee, I like the outline of, you know, and I like pushing it to city council. I like that.
I'll add that when we met with the two of them here, almost 2 weeks ago, I said that what they had put together was far more detailed than what I was anticipating. There was a lot of good information there, a lot of good thoughts.
Okay, let's continue. Date for workshop with Lisa Key on comprehensive plan. Last time Lisa came to us, she talked about our involvement in the development in her comprehensive plan. She probably looked like she wanted to have a separate workshop and just talk it out with us first, and then have a joint workshop with the planning commission. Is that the same? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, and she told me that she's basically available pretty much any time. Anybody's request for a meeting workshop.
And she was waiting on some more specifics, right, coming towards her.
Yes,
So I think that was our only thing, was waiting till she felt like she had enough in concrete for us to be helpful.
yes. And really, she was on a vacation because she went to a vacation for a couple of weeks and she needed just to,
Yeah.
yes, get together some more information. So, did she give any preferred dates? She just said those.
Basically not during a city council meeting time, which obviously, because they will be here and not you, at least having a meeting. And planning commission meeting dates, which is once a month, so she's sounds like she's pretty much open.
Okay, everybody get out their calendars and let's put out the tentative dates, or 3 or 4. 2 or 3 is enough.
I'm good any day but Tuesday.
I need that sort of evening-y time. 4:30 on.
Is there a specific week we're looking at?
Right now, we're just trying to get, we are trying to winnow it down. Aaron, is there a specific week that would work better for you? Arlene, the same thing. Is there a specific week that would work better for you?
Okay. Are we talking April or May?
So I believe at the moment, David, did Lisa,
She didn't give specifics, you may, like you say, wanna propose, 3 dates and.
so I would,
Fairly
yeah,
well for everybody, and so
I would say, is there any week in April that the majority of us could make it? And I think the evenings are preferable for everybody.
I would kind of go into May. I feel like for some reason, I was getting the feeling that more information was coming to her by the day. It almost seemed like to me, the more that, yeah, I don't know, that's my vibe. The further we can go into it,
Okay.
better to me. That's my thought. So that if you still want to get it, started early, that, it says May to me.
Okay, that's great. Let's shoot for May. So May, the week of May 6th, and I'm gonna just be, it's all about me right now. It works well for me on the evenings on the week of May 6th.
The only days I'm available on Monday.
Wow, Monday, May 6th.
Monday, May 6th?
Works for me. Arlene?
I'm out of town. I'm out of town, but I'm available on the 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th.
What about the following week, the following Monday?
Oh,
13th?
sure, 13th, yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
Aaron?
that's open. Aaron, is it open for you? On May 13th?
Yeah, that should be good.
We will, David will guarantee to have Zoom working by
No,
then.
no,
No,
not after
he's
tonight.
saying no, but I'm making promises, but hopefully we can. Okay, so is May 13th workable for everybody? Is 6 o'clock workable for everybody?
Yes,
Would the 20th be a good backup for her if she's not available, if she has Mondays free?
sure.
So we could offer her the 13th or the 20th, either
Okay.
Mondays?
So is the 20th good for you, Aaron, if as a backup? Okay. Okay, so we have the 13th backup. Okay, Plan A, May 13th. Plan B, May 20th. Is 6 o'clock, is that workable for everybody?
Yes,
Okay, 6 o'clock. Plan A, May 13th at 6. Plan B, May 20th at 6.
And if neither of those work, I'll contact everybody. And see
Yeah,
what else
just
we-
contact us as soon as possible and,
We're leaving Tuesdays out, I know.
yeah.
And as of now, Monday and what else for you, Aaron?
Aaron,
Monday, right?
Monday and
Yeah, that's why, yeah, just on that 13th and 20th.
Monday and Monday,
Perfect, that's what we're offering.
yeah, okay, Monday and Monday. For Aaron, good,
That's it.
excellent. Okay, we got the date for the workshop. Discussion on Spokane River Centennial Trail and Liberty Lake Regional Park. David wrote up a great on the Facebook. Check the Facebook. I've already had questions on a previous meeting, even though it was very well posted about this from another group of people. Even though it's well posted and well publicized, I still expect these questions to come up at the farmer's market. So I think that David wrote up a well-written article on that in the Facebook. It explains everything. And then I also went to the Washington State Park site, and they also wrote another article on what was going to happen to milepost 0 to milepost 14.
Probably the most detailed information out there right now is that extensive feature from the Spokesman Review from about a week ago. And then, we have a homepage article that's got actually a lot more detail than the state park site does. Don't just rely on what the state park site has, because there's not a lot of information there. And as far as we know, the whole thing is gonna be closed for the whole period. You won't do it,
Aaron, we lost connection.
you won't be doing it in sections. But that could change, we don't have all the information yet. Also, neither of these are city projects.
But never fear, the city's gonna get all the questions.
Yes.
While not a city project, we know this from the county.
Okay, H, select member to provide CEC update on May 7th. There was a typo there for city council meeting. Mark, he's all the time, he volunteered unless someone else would prefer.
However, he's not been able to be at the meeting tonight. He won't be able to see much of the recording.
However, yeah,
So,
that is
the good thing is he's the
but you
perfect
know,
person.
one of us could update him. He could come and you could update him if needed. So I don't know if anybody else would like to volunteer.
Keeping in mind, you had a lot of discussion on item number 1.
Gonna say, it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like somebody else should maybe take this one, Robin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is this a vote? Should I, you want me to address the city? I can.
Whoever can do it. Again, I'm just pointing out that you had a lot of discussion on 1. And Mark's done a great job, with representing the group, but, he's not been able to be here for that discussion tonight.
I will.
Good.
Great.
I gotta make sure I write that down.
I was also gonna point out for summer that the meetings are after 4:30. So,
That's, it's not wrong.
I mean, yeah, somebody, if you want to, you can. Okay, I'll do it. I got it. I'll do it. It's my turn
I
to.
might be out there in the audience.
Other upcoming opportunities anybody can think of? If not, always, I email David a lot, so, because it's things that come up to me later, I go, you know. Okay,
Your recording has reached the maximum length.
You left us all a message for him.
I don't know why, he just blanked out,
I know.
but we're at the end, so I'm good.
That's wonderful.
I know,
Okay.
And so, okay, we got the transparency item. You know, I think we should keep things like the work plan, the city council, those takeaways. I think that those should just be, because even if we don't have anything to say on it, we can say at this moment, we don't have anything. And then the city hall updates.
Are they going,
We can also say at this moment, it's still under discussion.
Yes, we can.
which one?
Whenever you have an item that's not ready to be presented, just say it's still under discussion.
Agreed.
Agreed, yes. You can. Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Because we really discussed a lot.
We did.
Yes,
Thanks for showing up remotely.
thank
Yeah.
you, Arlene. And Aaron, if
Very
you.
well, thank you.
Thank you. So if nothing else, then meeting is adjourned.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Bye.